And we're live.
Yeah.
Hey, everyone.
Yeah.
Welcome to a very normal Tuesday podcast.
Well,
Yeah.
Chill Willis
Very
at
chill.
it again.
Hey, everybody. What's happening?
He's been doing this all day.
Will?
Yeah, hey, what's up? What's
Hey,
up?
what's happening?
What's up,
happening?
Adam Berg?
Adam Murphy.
Yeah, Adam Murphy
Yeah.
at it again.
That's great to have you here. We're here on the internet. Yeah. We're going to start the show soon, okay? I'm going to need you to go ahead and submit your questions in the Discord. Yeah.
A lot of questions.
Yeah, we all have
Yeah.
questions.
We all have questions today.
Yeah.
Many
Need you to
questions.
get those TPS reports in. Just to let you know, we're putting cover sheets on all the TPS reports going forward. So let's go ahead and link that out in the description. Put a link to it in the description. Yeah, I'm going to need you to do that, Willis.
I don't see any links to the TPS reports. in the
Yeah, I'm
description.
going to need Willis to add that to the description.
Oh.
That'd be terrific. Yeah. So we're going to talk about computer stuff here today.
Mhm.
Are we
Yeah.
now?
Great to have you.
90s computers.
I feel like I should have dressed up as a printer now.
Okay, so I messed up the other day pretty bad. I thought, you know, it would be a fun costume for my wife and I to do when we're walking around trick or treating with the kiddo. Is like one of us could be the hot dog guy from that Tim Robinson sketch, and the other one could be the car. Right?
Okay.
We'll just make a cardboard hot dog car. And I thought, but neither of them had seen the sketch, so I was like, oh, well, I'll just load up the sketch. I'll watch the sketch. And the first like 3 minutes, pretty normal. And then I was like, oh, right, this is from I Think You Should Leave. So there's a segment at the end where he just starts randomly listing off porn sites and talking about being spanked as punishment for whoever crashed the car through the building. And my daughter just turns around at me and she does this look. Because when you're 12, the worst thing you can do is, you know, have some sort of conversation about anything remotely sex related.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, so anyway, we're not doing the hot dog costume is the TLD.
To be honest, I'm 40-something and I don't want to have any talk remotely sex-related with my parents.
No, like, look, anytime my dad is like, hey, let's talk about this, I'm like, no, I'm good, Dad. Go pay a professional for this one.
Yeah. Great to have everyone here.
Hey,
Yeah.
I'm going to need Helena to show up for the pre-show. That'd be great. In the meantime, let's talk about something. I want to talk about how I am now along with our security-related friend, Mike Dansiglio, we are viral TikTok stars.
Oh, no.
We have our first viral video on TikTok, PCWorld, at PCWorld.com on TikTok. Yeah, video over 1.2 million.
Wow, that's pretty
It's
popular.
taken over the internet. Yeah. So I'm gonna need.
Oh,
you
that kind of viral. I
What's
thought
it
you were talking
about?
about because it was filmed in a bed. I thought it was a different kind.
Yeah. It's a good video. You should go watch it. It's also on YouTube. But it's not viral on YouTube. Just viral on TikTok.
What is it about, Adam?
It's about plugging USB devices into public USB holes.
Yeah, you got to talk about your holes.
yeah.
I learned that from the Giant
And
Bomb.
it's
It's
pretty funny. Pretty good.
yeah, what have you
See,
learned?
I thought that video was good because it also taught you to not plug them into semi-private USB holes either.
Yeah, and anywhere where the public has had access to.
Did you ask about getting in a lift? Like sometimes they have plugs back there. I'm like, man, that would be great to charge my phone a little bit right now.
So this is a series. We're
Yeah.
gonna have more videos in this
Okay.
series of the exact same thing.
What about that Nathan's Hot Dogs at CES in the North Concourse?
I try not to go over there.
Oh man, those little mini hot dogs. They get the little mini corn dogs though. You get just it's a tub of corn dogs. Brad just disappeared. He's gone.
He's into the void
He's
right
in the-
now.
Yeah, but like they sell a big cup. You get a big cup full of mini corn dogs, and they're pretty delicious.
Sold.
Yeah, they're like little guys,
Yeah. That's
and they have free USB charging.
that's fantastic.
Yeah,
Terrific.
Yeah, free USB charging.
Yeah.
Sipping.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm a viral TikTok star for.
Congratulations.
And don't worry, we have another series based off of different places that I find USB keys on the ground.
That's great.
So
It's fantastic.
look forward to that. Go ahead and follow us over on TikTok. TIT.
Nope. TIK. Beep.
TIKTOK.com.
TITKOK is something else, it turns out.
Yeah.
That was worse than I meant for it to be.
Oh my.
Vote on this pre-show.
Right. Yeah, I'm really glad this doesn't go out over the.
Said TOTTOK, and I just sometimes you get a little transposed.
Yeah. I heard the baseball team did something last night. Everybody's talking about it.
I watched 18. Well, I started playing Peak with my daughter at the end of the 9th inning, thinking, "Oh, this is going to wrap up soon."
Okay.
And then we played Peak for like 2 hours and played a little Fortnite. And then I came back, and my wife was like, "Hey, the baseball game's still on there in the 15th inning."
That's a lot of baseball.
It was a lot of baseball.
That's about 15 innings too many.
They were, by the end of the game, the Dodgers were warming up Yamamoto, who had pitched the last game, because they were out of bullpen, and they were like, it's either that or the second baseman pitched in high school.
Wow. That's
I might have to go back and rewatch that.
It's like, I love a long baseball game because the announcers by about the 14th inning, they're just completely out of patter. And at some point they start doing segments on like what snacks the people have in the bullpen to eat behind the like they start zooming in on people in the crowd. They're just like they're telling stories about them. It's very good. It's good broadcasting.
sounds terrific. Sounds terrific.
Everybody looked like they were absolutely done with it by the end, though. Umpires, batters, pitchers, the whole thing.
I was done with baseball when it started.
Well, I mean, look.
Perfect. Terrific. Yeah.
I'm going to suggest that maybe the Lumberg voice the entire podcast might get annoying for some of us.
Nope.
No? You don't think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to have to disagree with you there.
This is going to be great. No wonder Elena's out sick today.
Yeah. I got to thank one Will Smith for bringing in cufflinks.
Hey, you're welcome.
The first shirt I've ever owned that required cufflinks. I did not know that was a thing.
They're my Hugo Boss cufflinks.
I've never had a cufflink in my life.
Me neither. But now I realize we need to do full nerd cufflinks.
Well, my tuxedo has cufflinks. My tuxedo shirt requires cufflinks.
I mean,
and remember, I forgot to bring them
boy.
in.
You're a fancy boy.
And I had to make them out of thumb screws, the full nerd way.
Mm-hmm. I do have a full nerd tie pin. Look at that. So
I think that's just a pin, but you're using it as a
Nope.
tie pin. Oh, is it a tie pin?
I mean, I pinned my tie with it.
But you didn't pin it through your
It's
shirt.
on a tie.
You're supposed to pin it through your shirt?
I think so, right?
Oh.
Isn't it so the shirt doesn't move? Here, you just smack it straight into the skin.
Yeah, let me,
Oh, my.
Go ahead and fix that then.
Sternomize
I
that.
don't know.
Oh, I hope Elena has a lot of flair.
There we go. Yeah, there we go.
For the three people who care, I'm wearing my my Medina Sod Lebowski bowling shirt.
Yeah, I'm gonna need you to stand up and show the fine folks.
I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna need a
we'll
minute.
we'll wait for the show.
Should I turn on the?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, any word from Elena Willis?
Not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Okay.
And yeah.
Okay.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, speaking of the devil.
Hmm.
She's getting her flair in order.
Hmm. Elena. Hi, Elena. Hi, Elena. Elena, what's happening? Elena is on mute. I'm going to need you to go ahead and
I am.
unmute. Terrific.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So weird to see you without a beard.
It's much weirder in person, Elena.
Yeah.
That was tripping me up so bad.
Yeah, it's not right.
It's like I should have just gone full beard because then we would have balanced out the beard ratio.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's there, and I'm here.
Elena, I'm going to need you to check your microphone settings. You're
Turn it
coming in
up.
real low.
Fucking
That'd be
again.
terrific.
That fucking did it.
Yeah.
Also, sorry, I thought you would have started without me.
That's
Oh god,
fine.
it's like 45%.
There we
Why?
go. There
We're doing the
he is.
pre-show right now, so we are
There
starting.
he is.
Elena's inside
Oh, okay,
my
great.
head.
Hey.
Terrific. That's fantastic.
Hi, everybody.
That's fantastic. We're gonna go ahead and start. How long you need to finish up over here? Okay. Well, we'll let that go. We'll let that go.
What is happening, Will?
Lots happening right now.
Will is inflating.
Oh!
Will's riding the donkey.
It's a chicken.
That's
riding the
not the word
chicken.
I thought of.
It's a
Oh,
cool
yeah.
chicken because he has sunglasses.
Ride it.
I was gonna use another word for it, but okay, sure. That works. Chicken it is.
Yeah.
Rooster?
Yeah.
Raising the rooster.
Fantastic.
Inflating the rooster.
Yeah.
Oh
He's
my.
got to get
Oh
swole.
my.
Okay.
I feel like I drastically underprepared compared to the rest of y'all.
Now, the last time I tried to sit down
I
with
was
this on, I
peer
beefed
pressured
it.
into it, Brad. You stayed strong.
Maybe Willis can.
What's up?
There we go.
Oh my.
Fantastic. We should
You
get
doing okay?
we should
You
get
know
an
what they
extra
should
microphone
do?
here.
What they
Yeah.
should do. You need an Apple box.
I might have to switch to an Apple box, but
That's fine. You can deflate after the intro. Yeah, we're all committed. The full
Yeah.
commitment here.
Full commitment.
Um,
Let's see. Lewis Law, I'm gonna switch over to my camera since I guess I haven't seen my costume yet. Yeah. I'm just me. It's just, me in doing K-pop today. And yeah. Don't worry about my face. Just maybe it's a little food poisoning or whatnot. I'm not turning into a demon. No.
What?
That's not it at all.
He's feeling a little
Elena, check the
demonic.
Slack.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
I missed
Okay.
nobody else has seen K-pop Demon Hunters here.
I
I
love K-pop
am-
Demon Hunters. It's fantastic.
I am revoking
Terrific.
Adam's K-pop fan
Terrific.
badge for not seeing it.
Bill Lumberg has not seen K-pop Demon Hunters, so I'm just in
I
character.
haven't yet either.
Wow.
It's really good.
What?
Listen
Elena,
out.
Elena, I'm going to need you to watch that on Saturday.
Brad, you saw it, right?
Yeah, maybe even on Sunday as
Would you
well.
like it? Thank you. At least Brad guy gets it.
Yeah. It's terrific.
It's legitimately good too.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to need to go ahead and start the show.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah. So, okay. Willis.
I need to adjust your mic because you're talking
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
Do you want to pet the chicken?
Adam? Is that
Is
not
that
it?
HR violation?
I was going to say, is that not HR
It's an
violation?
inflatable chicken. What's wrong with that?
Don't touch the tip or the beak.
Wow.
Oh.
Wow, Willis.
Willis. You're the person I least expected to say
Wow.
that.
Of all of us.
Yeah. Willis, we're going to have to talk after this. Yeah.
HR, where are you?
Yeah.
I need an adult.
Yeah. It's Halloween. Okay. The hamsters are doing good. Let's get this going. And yes, Jammer Lammy says that audio listeners are going to be very confused this week. That is
More
true.
so than usual.
Yeah.
They don't get the pre-show though, right?
No, they
So
don't.
No. This is
they
gonna
missed
be
all these hijinks. That's
is
why.
terrific.
That's why you have to
Just-
tune in for
it's
this
terrific.
live, or at
YouTube
least on video.
Yeah.
YouTube exclusive.
Okay, we ready?
Yeah.
Let's go, gamers.
Yeah.
Here we
I
go.
think hamster's running. And actually, hold on. Quick second. Here we go. Okay, cool.
Okay.
And,
Okay.
all right, hamster's
Yeah.
running great. Let's do this.
Yeah. Okay. Terrific. In this episode of The Full Nerd, we'll talk about the PC winning the console race, and a Ryzen 9000 APU. Terrific. Yeah. Hey everybody, what's happening? We're here on episode 371 of the Full Nerd Podcast, the go-to place for PC building news. I am your fill-in host, Adam Patrick Murray. Great to have everybody here. And on the line, I've got co-host Brad Charkis. What's happening, Brad?
Something onions. Howdy, internet.
Fantastic. Terrific. Lena, what's happening?
I don't know. I truly don't know.
Yeah. Will, what's happening?
I'm just here doing my job, filling out the TPS reports.
Yeah, I'm gonna need you to stand up and show the stream. Okay. Okay.
Audio listeners, Will
Fantastic.
is attached to a large inflatable chicken with
Yeah.
sunglasses.
It's part of me, Elena. It's a cool chicken.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
part of you.
I didn't know chickens could move like that.
This chicken has moves.
Willis,
Hey, yo.
Willis Sly, if I could just get you to control the verticals and horizontals for this show, that'd be terrific.
Always there, always there.
Yeah, I'm also going to need you to come in on Saturday.
Saturday.
Yeah,
You're gonna pay me overtime, right,
maybe
boss?
Sunday. Yeah.
Oh my. Hello,
So welcome
everyone.
everybody. We're here for the Halloween show. This is spooky. Audio listeners probably need to see a still image, or at least a portion of the video, to understand what's going on here. But yeah, we're gonna talk about PC related topics. But before we start, I wanna get to something that happened a couple weeks ago.
Oh.
Elena,
Oh.
I'm gonna need you to talk about this love for dome switches. Yeah.
Wait.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a thing.
Yeah.
Art?
So I don't think have you tried other switches that emulate a tactile bump?
Oh, yeah, that's just work.
Okay, we're gonna need you to go ahead and make a new custom keyboard live on stream, and try divorcing yourself from those rubber dome switches. That would be fantastic.
I guess. If you are insisting I come in.
Yeah.
Elena, I have questions about this.
Yes, I'm sure you do.
Oh, yeah. So
Am I not in the chat?
No, the episode where we were in Phoenix and Elena proclaimed her love for dome switches, and yeah,
That's-
we're gonna need to talk
I think
about
that's a
that.
slight mischaracterization, though, because the way I described it was that I felt like the rubber dome switches on my ergonomic keyboard were better. I don't know if I said necessarily or meant to imply a broad, overarching, every single rubber dome switch is going to be better.
I think but you preferred them was what I had
I
heard.
do
Yeah.
for accuracy in typing.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I think we just need to show Elena the other switch options that are out there. I think maybe there's an option that might gel with you.
Well, when you combine that with an ergonomic keyboard that's tinted, then we'll talk.
Oh, well, just so happens that we have a ergonomic keyboard here from Razer. It's
tentable.
Well, I don't know if I would go that far. But,
It's got the magnetic.
It's the tenting.
I brought it
It's
in
the
to
tenting.
show you. You can
Gotta get a little taco stand and then just lean it
Yeah.
against the taco stand.
well, actually.
Right.
I just want to say it's not that I'm not testing one right now. This is
Oh.
the reason why.
Wow.
This is the reason why
Okay.
this came up as a subject. It's actually kind of interesting. I will actually briefly give spoilers to what my review is going to contain, which
Terrific.
is that I am weirdly attached to how the switches feel, but I still hate them for how they actually affect my typing accuracy.
Well, do they come with the same switches? Does it look gray when you take off a cap?
I don't know what that means.
Well, like if
just-
you pull off a cap, is it gray underneath?
What color?
I
is this?
did not memorize the color. I just know that these are magnetic switches.
Well, I mean, just if you could pull off a cap real quick and look. And
I don't have a keycap puller
Oh,
with
you
me,
can just do
and
it with
these
your,
keys
your
don't
finger.
come off easily.
Yeah, look at that right there.
Oh boy, here he goes.
All right. Well, so these are linear switches, and I think you would like something with a little bit of a bump to it. So I hate linear switches because of what you just said. The typing accuracy is, yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
Elena, did you play Final Sentence while the demo was live during Next Fest?
No, actually,
is it over?
I did not.
I think last time I checked, the demo is still up, but I played some Final Sentence on a Nextlander stream last week. It is it bills itself as a typing battle royale, and it's set in a kind of grim grim dystopian situation where you're locked in a room with like 40 other people, and there's typewriters in front of you, but there's also a man with a mask on and a 6-chambered revolver. And when you type paragraphs, every paragraph you make 3 mistakes, he Russian roulettes the cylinder in the revolver.
This is too stressful.
And
this is way too stressful.
Pulls the trigger, and then if you survive, you get to keep going again until you make 3 more mistakes. And then he puts a second bullet in the chamber and spins it, and so it's a 1 in 3 chance at that point.
Also, what you're typing is not always.
Most of the time it's normal, but sometimes it's like lorem ipsum. Sometimes it's got a bunch of typos in it. Yeah. Sometimes they just occasionally skip an E. Sometimes it's just a whole buttload of zeros and ones. Just straight by.
That sounds amazing.
I didn't know this was my nightmare scenario, but it actually is my nightmare scenario.
I'm going to go and tell you, we played it. We kept playing like one more game because the games are like 2 minutes long, 3 minutes long usually.
Fantastic.
And I was pouring sweat by the end. It was so tense because you don't want to make those mistakes. And I've never hated my linear keys more because like I do linear because they're quiet and they're terrible in that situation. I needed something clicky and really obnoxious. Well,
so luckily, Elena, these are hot swappable switches. So if we can get you to find some switches that you like, then if you like the form factor of this, you can swap it out with different kinds of switches that will impact your writing performance.
But you still have to get magnetics, right?
No.
Oh, it'll work with regular switches too?
Why not?
That's not how it works usually.
Say, the magnetic switches are so smooth. They're actually very spoiling. Like,
oh, you do like them?
I like how smooth it feels in the sense of like, it's a very pleasant tactile experience. I have linear switches in front of me on a gaming keyboard. I think they're just standard like dupes of like, or they actually are cherry reds. And I actually used to think like that was a pretty smooth experience because it's like, it's linear. There's no like interruption. And like now when, I think there's different parts of the keyboard that are also playing into this. So when I was typing on it the other day, just to log into my gaming PC, I was like, I hate this. It feels so cheap and jank now. And I think it's the springs. Like, I think there are springs involved as well. And I think that's actually more of my issue than the Switch itself.
They might not be lubed as properly either.
I don't know. Yeah. It's a rabbit hole. I'm just reviewing this keyboard as it was given to me. So without modification.
Yeah. Okay. It's fantastic.
Do you bottom out when you type or no? Do you bottom out the keys or do you just
I don't know. Let me type something into chat. Yes.
Okay.
I learned on a manual typewriter, so I think that's instinctive for me.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I became clear is that I don't bottom out when I'm going really, really fast anymore. And I was missing keys because I wasn't getting to I was doing the actuation point by memory, not by feel.
Well, luckily these are adjustable actuation point.
Oh well, thank goodness.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's fantastic.
It feels like Adam has stock in this company over here or something.
This
keyboard.
No, not this keyboard specifically, but switches. You know, there are so many switches out there.
I have adjusted my actuation point. I talked to Kreider. He is our keyboard expert on staff. He walked me through so many different changes I could make, and what I realized is that I think the rubber domes actually give me some protection against inaccuracy or precision with my finger movements, right? So like if I'm typing really quickly and I am not necessarily like cleanly moving my finger like from one key to the other, because that's just actually less efficient as a movement, then it's fine because the rubber domes aren't going to register. But these are so sensitive that if I even like lightly, and this, you know, even with playing with the actuation points, like it'll just trigger the other key. So I get these like typing errors, which drives me a little nuts.
Yeah.
And then the problem for me is that if I make the actuation point a little too deep, then like I'm like feeling like I have to like on a manual typewriter, like go tonk, 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 tonk with each press, which also slows me down. So there's just a lot going on here that doesn't make any necessarily logical sense. It's just a lot of irritable vibes happening.
Well, I remember I got in a Corsair keyboard that had the speeds, which like have a really short actuation distance, and like, oh wow, my typing was horrendous, and I was like, okay, I need to throw this out.
Well, yeah, it's the all the little twitches that you don't realize you do when you're typing, just because you think the wrong letter for something for a split second, it picks up on them.
Honestly, I didn't realize like I must rest my hands heavy on the keys, so I was just resting my hands. I was actuating keys, and I was just like, whoa.
That's the thing.
Yeah. Oh. Okay, so going to need to go ahead and move over to the first topic here. Elena, I'm going to need you to go ahead and talk about APU rumors. We have rumors of AMD Ryzen 9000G CPUs. Have we talked about this on PCWorld.com?
I don't think so.
No, I actually have been out on vacation, so I'm still playing catch up.
I have a link in the description to another site.
Video cards with a Z.
Video cards with a Z.
Classic rumors.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is based off of Strix Point. So essentially a mobile APU put in a desktop socket. Eleni, how are you feeling about this?
I'm tentatively excited. So from what I looked at when I looked at it's a very brief article.
Yeah.
And I'm hopeful that we would see some of this for general consumer. But the thing is that previously we haven't always seen all the G parts actually make it to us as like a standalone part, right? So some of them have been reserved for, I guess, what I want to say, pre-builts and other markets, right? So if the rumors prove true, it's supposed to be like what? Let me look at this. 4 SKUs. So we've got 9700G, 9600G, 9500G, and 9300G. And I don't recall, but which ones we actually saw for 8000 in our hands. I think that was only like the top 2. So like the 8700 and the 8600. So like we likely won't ever see a 9300G in the wild, is my guess. Which is actually for me kind of disappointing, because I think the reason why you asked me how I feel about this is because of all of us, I'm probably the most excited when these come out. I really love seeing what we can do on what's technically, I guess, like one single chip. It's not fully integrated, but like it's just one single chip, so you don't really need a discrete graphics card. And like I actually have gamed on a 5600G. I wouldn't say it's potato quality, but it's, obviously not all the bells and whistles. But if you're playing a game like I play Overwatch, you don't necessarily need all the bells and whistles. And to be honest, in some of these online multiplayer games, when you turn down all the bells and whistles, it actually helps you find enemies really well. Like I've seen videos of this. I think PUBG, I've seen it in Overwatch, where like you crank everything down, you're like, oh, that person thinks they're hiding in that corner, but they're really not. Bye.
Yeah, turning down the grass and bushes in PUBG was classic.
Yeah, also, I need to clarify, the 2 lower end SKUs that are rumored are actually based on Kraken Point. So, a step down compared to Strix Point. Strix Point is really good 1080p gaming. I mean, that's what's in a lot of the new handhelds. And like for me, like we've talked about it, I feel like multiple companies have talked about this over the course of the last while, that the low end discrete GPU market is starting to get eaten over and over again by these higher end APUs. And I mean, this is that Strix Point, at least specifically, is a real workhorse.
I was really glad to see this follow-up rumor happen a couple days ago with Strix Point, because originally, a few days before that, all this comes from data mining, motherboard BIOSes from MSI and Asus, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And they only mentioned Kraken Point at first, which, you know, Kraken Point is in the Ryzen 5 300 and Ryzen 7 300 parts for laptops, and they're really good laptop parts. But they topped out at 8 and 4 Radeon compute units. So the 8700G from last year had 12. So I'm like, oh, you know, I'm always excited about more APUs, especially because this one will likely have an NPU inside of it. So it'll be a really compelling thing if you're into that stuff. But it was looking like it was going to be a step down from last gen. So to see Strix get found and the data mine things at the same time, Strix Point, unlike Kraken Point, has 12 Radeon compute units or 16 Radeon compute units. So we could see a whole family of these chips, and I'm really excited for it, actually.
Mm-hmm. Also, I feel like with the trend of having embedded APUs on motherboards, like it's not taken off, but I think it's a viable option. We've seen that a couple places.
It seems like it's on the rise. Like especially like if we follow the classic trend path of, hey, there's stuff happening in Southeast Asia electronics markets that then gradually makes its way to the West. Like we're one of the big trends of the last year is, hey, there's a lot of PC size motherboards, whether they're ITX or ATX, with APUs or, you know, low powered SoCs soldered onto them, basically. I think we'll see more of that in the future. Makes sense.
Also with the pricing, I think that's the other thing. Was that talked about in this article? I don't think it was.
No. Video cards,
because there was that was definitely one of the things of the new series of APUs is that the prices for the laptops had risen. So I would assume if this came out on desktop, we'll probably see a price increase, not only for the parts themselves, but just given the current economic situation.
Yeah.
What price would you like to see these at, Elena?
I mean, I always like to see them at maybe like a similar-ish price to their I guess what you want to call it, X equivalents, right? So like if you have a 9700 and then you have a 9700G, I would like to see them sort of near each other. Obviously the G, because it has a little bit more to it, it's going to cost a little bit more. What I sometimes am disappointed by is that the pricing can be a little weird at first, so then we get a pretty decently large, or at least something that you feel as kind of a difference. But with the market being what it is right now, I actually really can't predict or like really honestly give a informed opinion as to what I think would be reasonable right now. I don't know what's going to happen. We keep hearing about all the back and forth with the tariffs. There's a lot of reports about how once the retail period ends for us, this like Q4, we're going to probably start in the US, we're going to probably start seeing a lot of prices go up in general across the board, just because what happened was with the earlier tariff back and forth, a lot of retailers and distributors basically like pulled as much product over as they could so they could hold on to it for the holiday period. But everything that's going to come in after that will be subject to the higher prices or, you know, more affected by these market forces. So there's a lot of predictions that prices go up in general. So I just don't know what something like this, which is not necessarily even a commodity, right, is going to look like for us. So I'm doing my usual hedging, but it's for a good reason.
Also, the pricing for DDR5 continues to be an issue. I've seen multiple people in the chat talking about it. There's been videos about it on YouTube. That's definitely going to affect things, especially for the low end, right? Yeah.
Audio listeners, we're just nodding grimly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not good.
The last gen 8700G came out at 330. I would be shocked if the 9700G, if this does come out, is cheaper. What I'm curious to see is so last gen, the 8700G had 8 CPU cores and 12 Radeon cores. With Kraken Point, it's 8 CPU cores and 8 Radeon cores for a higher end thing. So it doesn't exactly match up to it. So I'm curious to see if they roll that out as the $330-ish one and then roll out Strix Point, which has higher CPU and GPU counts at even higher points.
Do you think they can upcharge for the fact that it has could potentially have an NPU, so now it's Copilot Plus certified?
I think the market has shown that no one cares.
I agree, but I agree with Elena that it's hard with chip pricing being what it is these days. It's hard to know what the actual new price will be.
Yeah, I mean, I think the interesting thing will be if this hits, like, this is an opportunity for AMD to hit the low end 1080p. Like, imagine a NUC size box, like a B-Link size box with a socketed processor, maybe not even a socketed processor.
I mean, we have those now, with the
$500, $600.
Well, they're not hitting that.
Yeah, no,
pricing,
I know,
yeah.
I know, but that's the dream, right?
They used to.
Yeah.
So I have on my desk right now, I think this is a Phantom Canyon NUC. So this one has, I want to say like 10th gen, 11th gen, I think 11th gen
Coffee Lake?
laptop processor.
Rice Lake, maybe.
And it's paired with a discrete or mobile version of the 2060. So, and this thing holds up pretty well. And it's been 4 years since this came out, I want to say. So with something like this, I wouldn't be surprised if they could get it in still, like this is what probably at most a liter. They probably could get it in still something this size or possibly even smaller. So that would be pretty exciting, honestly.
And I mean, I think the unfortunate thing is that these are just RDNA 3.5 cores, right? So they're not full FSR for hardware with the hardware acceleration and all that stuff. I think, like, it wouldn't surprise me if AMD slow plays this because they know that the place that this shines and the place that they unlock 4K is when they have hardware accelerated FSR on the RDNA 4 version of this next generation. So.
Yeah, this all feels like a CES announcement to me, tied in with the FSR4 stuff and whatnot.
Oh, by the way, we have this thing that's going to sell like 18 copies.
We have seen the Int 8 version of FSR4 running on non-RDNA 4 hardware. There's been testing around that, like Digital Foundry. Digital Foundry did some good testing around it, things like that. And yeah, it's very expensive for the frame times, especially at a lower end like this. So. Yeah,
I am curious to see if Strix Points does come out, like how much it will cost, because all the scuttlebutt from the laptop makers is that Strix Points cost some serious money for the chip itself in the laptop. So, like, how much are people willing to spend for a really good APU? I mean, obviously on the top end, AI Strix Halo, AI Max, whatever they call it in product, like that has a thing. But I'm curious, like, would you pay $500 for a Strix Point APU? If it's topped out with 16 Radeon cores and 16 Zen 5 threads?
Depends on the performance, though, right? So I think that's what it always boils down to ultimately, because it's like, what are you getting for that price? And what are the competing options? And unfortunately, I actually think for us as consumers right now, with so few options for this lower end of gaming, you don't really have that much of a choice, which is like, okay, well, do I get a discrete GPU and pay probably a lot more than a $500 total for both my CPU and GPU combo? Or do I maybe get less performance than I would like at $500, but still spend $500 to at least play the games that I'm normally playing, at a decent graphical settings and, frame rates. So I talk about this a lot in the newsletter, and I feel like the newsletter, thank you for everyone who's still subscribed to it, because I feel like sometimes it's just been gloom and doom, like for weeks on end. And I try not to go there too much, but at the same time, it just feels like it almost feels like we were in this golden age, like even a few years ago. I mean, even with the pandemic, right? And that causing its issues, we still saw a lot of like really cool stuff. We're like, oh my God, look at all this performance we're getting across the board. And that has felt like it's just been steadily creeping higher and higher and higher and higher for point of entry. And so now everyone below that point is just kind of like, well, here are my options. None of them make me feel like I'm getting a steal for my money, which makes me feel good. So I'm just going to have to make those choices.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Y'all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Elena, I'm going to have to ask you to watch this one for a bit, see where it goes, see what we think. And if it comes out at CES, get your take again.
I'm in the wrong costume because like I feel like this is like a Rosie the Riveter moment.
How many pieces of flair are you wearing right now, Elena? That's the real question.
One.
Oh boy, that's not even the minimum.
Okay. Okay.
Gonna get written up.
Yeah. We'll talk to you afterward. So,
Yeah.
Willis, I'm going to need
Hey,
you to move over to the next topic.
Alrighty.
Oh boy, this one.
Ready to fight?
This one's going to be a fun one. Yeah. So, in the last couple of weeks, I have created it. Well,
You created it?
I created.
This is your
I
fault?
created a video
Oh.
along with one William Smith
Hi.
about the ROG Xbox Ally X, which features the new front-end dashboard, or it's not a front-end dashboard, it's a full-screen experience, I think is what Microsoft is calling it, and essentially showcasing what they believe is the future of Windows on handhelds. Now, we'll get into my thoughts on this one specifically, but then I've been saying for a while, and there's been new reports that indeed we're starting to see the beginnings of what this experience would look like on a console underneath a TV. That essentially the Xbox, whatever the next Xbox console is going to be a version of Windows 11 with a bespoke front end. They've talked about integrations with other gaming platforms like Steam, which is now in there as well. And yeah, Elena, I'm excited to talk to you about this, but Brad,
I'm ready.
I'm gonna go to you first because I don't think I have heard your thoughts. Michael Kreider had a good article on PCWorld.com. I should link to that in the description. We had our video. I don't know if you watched that, Brad, or not, but what are your thoughts on this new Xbox experience?
Mixed. I haven't actually used this new Xbox experience myself, so all I can do is having watched your video and talk to Mike and stuff. But from a strategic standpoint, I'm mixed. Like as a PC gamer, I love the idea of an Xbox being possibly cheaper hardware than you can get from a hardware vendor because they make it at scale, and it can be an Xbox but you can boot into a Windows kind of thing and play your Steam games and stuff. That sounds kind of awesome to me. I can see where Xbox fanboys, quote unquote, would be pretty upset about this, especially with Halo landing on the PlayStation and stuff this week. But I think they're kind of putting the cart before the horse because Windows on Xbox on Windows, even with this new, what full screen Xbox experience, I think it's called, sounds like it kind of sucks still. So if it sucks already, pinning the future of the Xbox brand on it seems, questionable at this point.
Yeah. So my other question, Brad, though, is this an Xbox? That's the big thing people are asking. And what would you define as an Xbox? What does this need to do to be an Xbox?
They can call it an Xbox, man. They can call whatever they want an Xbox. Apparently my TV's an Xbox, even though I just sold my Xbox. They jacked game prices up to $30 a month and increased the prices on stuff, so I sold my Xbox Series S for as much as I paid for it.
Wow. That's a pretty good return.
Actually, yeah, that's actually a pretty good return.
I get where they're coming from. It makes sense. It's a pretty compelling hook for normies, I would think. I think that would be a pretty compelling hook for the generation that is used to playing games on phones and playing Fortnite and doing all kinds of stuff. But, I mean, that's a pretty hard sell as a PC gamer primarily, who is also a console game forever. I don't want the cloud to be my answer to gaming.
That is the other thing too, is that I feel like around specifically this device, the Xbox Ally X, well, and non-X Ally, they had people, two different kinds of reviewers. You either have the games reviewers who are primarily console people, or the people like me who are more coming at it from a Windows handheld perspective. And I feel like there was a lot of negativity from the other side because they're like, wait, this is officially Xbox's first handheld ever.
Yeah.
They're pitching it that way. But I can't believe it's $1,000. I can't believe it won't play all my Xbox games.
Yankee.
Yeah.
Jeff Gerstmann was complaining that he had to uninstall OneDrive and Teams from it.
I mean, you don't have to.
Why?
Did they really leave those on there?
Yeah, they left them on there.
No. Because it's not even. It's not that they left them on there. This is just Windows 11 25H2. Like, there's no difference other than the experience of going into that front end. So, on one hand, then it's like, oh, cool. Then you get to go to the normal OS and you can do whatever you want on this thing. You can do your taxes, right?
I mean,
but on
what I've always wanted on my gaming devices.
Exactly. So
this is a long-standing debate with Gordon.
I know. I've heard this one before, and it's still exhausting.
Gordon would always say, well, you can't do that on an Xbox. I mean,
you can't.
They're actually,
they had an app.
Yeah. Well, Edge, you could just do it in the browser.
You could just do it in Edge.
Yeah.
But the point is,
Gordon didn't want to hear that.
Like it's the thing. So I posted this on Blue Sky the other day, and then a bunch of people were like, "Oh yeah, that's exactly right." As a PC elitist, as is my way, it seems like the thing that Microsoft is really the best at these days is making something that somebody else has made but slightly worse. Right?
Jeez, well, why don't you tell us what you really think?
But you think
why
about
hide it?
They made hey, here's a Steam Deck, and it's more expensive, and it's got a lot of crap on it that you don't need, and it's a pain in the butt to run, and it doesn't sleep right. And did I mention it's like $500 more? It's slightly worse. Hey, here's an operating system. Here's an operating system. It's just like everybody else's, but it's trying to sell you stuff that you've already bought, and also those things that they're trying to sell you are getting more expensive every time they come at you. So, it's like Mac OS, but worse.
Yeah, Apple at least makes things better.
Okay.
They wait a bit and then they make it good.
Yeah, they knock it off and make it good.
Yeah, that's why I think it's hard because I'm of two minds about this. I see the angle from a longtime Windows handheld user, but then I also understand the console people. So, yeah, that's when I'm going to need to consult one Elena Yee, get her thoughts on it. So, first question, Elena, is this an Xbox?
That's what Microsoft says.
Okay. What do you say?
I almost want to go about this the same way that RPG went at the whole like hot dog sandwich or like the whole hot dog sandwich question, right? Where like she used like the other person's like logic to like come to the conclusion, but I feel like that's not what you're asking me to do, right?
No, I legitimately.
Time, I think it's.
I want to hear. Yeah.
Well, because here's the thing, right? Like, how do you define an Xbox? How are we defining an Xbox?
Well, that's what I'm asking you.
No,
like, how would you define?
Like, how is an Xbox defined?
Be careful, and he's going to ask you to come on Saturday to work on this.
Yeah. Are you asking me or how Microsoft defines it?
I'm asking the whole group.
Yeah, okay.
How is an Xbox defined?
I think that the way that Microsoft defines it is any piece of hardware with a screen that can play Xbox games, be it from the cloud or locally.
Or has a Microsoft account attached to it that could potentially play Xbox games.
So if that is the definition, then yes, it could fall under there. You could even branch it down even more and say that anything running a particular interface or can run a particular app would qualify as an Xbox. And again, that would count because on Windows, you can run the Xbox app, right? So you're still playing Microsoft's encapsulation of those game files on the hardware. And I think for me, that's probably the most technically not sound, but like tangible definition for it, where it's like, okay, if you're taking away the definition of an Xbox as a one single concrete piece of hardware that you buy, then for me, what is a distinguishing factor between that and playing just games on a PC if it's running Windows, right? And to me, that means it has to be able to play Microsoft's, like the Microsoft Store version of it, like whatever is being pulled in through the Xbox app. Right. So whether that is being pulled through the Xbox app on Windows or it's, you know, the type of file or package that's being downloaded to a actually named Xbox branded sold as Xbox console, then that will qualify as an Xbox. That is my long wannabe lawyer answer to this question.
And what
I don't think this is what Xbox fans are looking for, though. Like, to go back.
No.
If they ask me this, like, I think Xbox fans are not like, yeah, this is an Xbox. This is Microsoft trying to convince us that all kinds of different things can be an Xbox.
Microsoft is desperately trying to convince the world that they don't need to make hardware to maintain a console publishing, like a console first-party business. And, like, I got bad news for them about the billions of dollars they got to spend on that if they want to keep being a first party.
Yeah, well,
Absolutely right.
And then the other part of it is, yes, this can technically play Xbox games, but what if some of them need to play through a cloud?
That doesn't count.
I mean, you're still playing it through an Xbox
count.
service.
Can I play it when it's offline? I could do that with my Xbox Series X. I put the disc in and play it, and it just works.
Yeah.
Can I play NCAA football on this thing? That's an Xbox console exclusive. It's not on the PC. It's not on the Microsoft Windows Store.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Is it playable?
I have not searched for that one, but we can do that live on the show.
I would love to do that live on the show.
I'm going to assume.
Do you want to do that?
I'm going to.
While I'm talking?
Yeah.
Because I got some comments.
I'm going to assume, before we try it, I'm going to assume that you can play it. It's through the cloud.
Yeah, I don't care about that then. Take it offline and then see if we can play it.
Yeah.
Comments,
So here are other thoughts. Here are other thoughts that I had on this topic since I knew I was going to be asked. Which is, for me, it's a little immaterial what we are defining as an Xbox. I'm more interested in what does the experience actually look like for gamers, right? So if we have a situation like where not all Xbox branded games can actually play on every single thing that's being called an Xbox, I think that's a problem. I think that makes things confusing. I don't really see a point to that because when it was defined clearly as here is the console, here is the PC, then you kind of knew what games you could expect to play on each. And it made sense because developers, and Will can speak to this way more technically and in depth than I can, developers have much more freedom to optimize a game, to like really tie into the hardware when it's that set console because it's uniform for everybody. It's not going to change. They have access to it in a way that they don't on myriad PCs with different configurations, right? So that's why we have certain games that are available for PC through the Xbox app, and we don't have it available. But we have certain games available for console, but we don't have them available for PC through this Xbox app. Like you have to download them some other way. And if we are going to start using hardware that's not uniform like a console, then what is really this experience at this point? What is the point of branding it as Xbox? So to me, it's like, I don't really care what it's called. I just kind of expect a certain uniformity in experience if you were going to call it a thing, if that makes sense, right?
100%, yeah.
Well, because it's an expectation, right? They should be setting up an expectations of the Xbox brand is this is what you get, but really what they're almost kind of diluting it into a no. It's anything can be an Xbox. It's just all about we enable ways of playing our games, man.
But to Elena's point is you go to Target, you buy a disc, you jam the disc into the console, and it just works, and you don't have to think about it.
Well,
if you want the PC experience, you go over into that sad section in the back with all the Bear Hunter 3Ds and the fishing games, and then you got to download a bunch of DirectXs and .nets and all this other crap, and then some weird sketchy storefront, and then all of a sudden your game maybe works before the computer black screens and reboots and you get an error message and have to reinstall Windows. That's the PC gaming experience people crave.
That's old school. And here's the other thing too. As much as there are advantages to playing on PC, right? I also think that with our group at least, everybody would say that it is fair to say that games are not always optimized as well for PC, and it can be such a variable experience, right? So so that's not carrying over from console. And so what does it really mean to have these varying levels of experience if you're all putting it under this one umbrella?
Look, people also oh, sorry, Brad.
Yeah.
To me, this just feels like they're barreling straight towards Steam Machines 2.0. Like, that's what this feels like to me.
I mean, Steam Machines 2.0 is the Steam Deck. That's the min spec. We're already there.
To play devil's avocado, we have somebody in the chat, and I was thinking this too. What if Microsoft are thought leaders? They know consoles are dying and physical media is dying, so maybe they're trying to get ahead of it and say, hey, you know what? This is the future.
To be clear, consoles are dying because we're laying off all the people that make games, and there's not going to be any games in 2027 and 2028.
I mean, like, it doesn't matter either way.
But no. They're the ones dying or killing. Whether it's an active verb or a passive verb matters in this case. Microsoft bought Activision, spent $70 billion that they're never going to be able to recoup from that investment. And then they were like, oh man, we got all these other people making Perfect Dark and what was the game, the rhythm game? Tango.
High Res.
Yeah, exactly.
Hi-Fi Rush.
Like all these incredibly well-reviewed games that made money. And then they're like, oh, man, okay, we're going to have to get rid of all these people because we got to make this balance sheet work for the $70 billion over here. And they're not even doing the balance sheets right on Game Pass. Did you see the report last week that they don't count the cost of the studios like Bethesda and all the first-party studios against Game Pass when everybody just spends it used to be $15 a month. Now it's $30 a month. Yeah, so
what?
No,
so,
I think they forgot to put the cover sheet on that TPS report.
Yeah, so they don't credit the cost of the generating when they say Game Pass is profitable, the cost of generating all the day one first party titles goes against those studios, not against Game Pass.
Oh, this is game publisher math.
Yeah, this is first party math. But again, you got to spend the $1 billion on the console to be a first party. And if you're not going to do that anymore, then, what the hey, man?
Then equals profit.
Yeah. Yeah, the underwear knowns are in full effect over here.
Steam Machines 2.0 mixed with Sega 2.0. I like what Sega's turned into, so hopefully 20 years from now, Microsoft will be cool again.
That Sonic Kart Racer seems okay. I don't know.
It's great. I love Sonic Kart Racing.
Like for me though, I feel like what they're trying to do is it's like a marketing thing. They're trying to get people to think that PC gaming is synonymous with Xbox, which they haven't done before. There's PC Game Pass, there's Xbox Game Pass. That's been different. Xbox for Windows was different than Xbox, right? It's always been like they've always had a line, even though it was murky. There was a line. Now they're trying to be like, no, it's all Xbox.
But like, oh, sorry.
I don't disagree. Sorry, Will. I just want to kind of real quick. I don't disagree with you, but I think that there's how when they first started doing it, we were like, yeah, that makes sense. This is good. Let's make it less confusing. They've kind of jumped past the line of it making sense, if that makes,
Well, I mean, for me, and specifically around this, we did look it up. NCAA is not available in the store.
Can't play that. That's an Xbox game.
You can't even search it. The problem I had with and we talked about this during the review, is that I do own some games in the Microsoft Store, or that I've either bought on Xbox or I've bought through the Microsoft Store. I don't know. In my mind, I was like, I bought it from Microsoft, so it's an Xbox game, however you want to define that. Unfortunately, I had a game, a library of games that were, I don't remember how many it was, 60 or something, and I was hitting certain games to try them out, and I was like, oh, you can only do this in the cloud. All it was doing was giving me an option to play it in the cloud, and I was like, that's weird. And then so I went up to the filter and filtered it by installable, and that list went down to a dozen. And at the time of recording our video, I was like, I don't know where that line is. Yeah. I don't know how they're defining what is an Xbox game, what is not. Come to find out, I've heard other people talk about it. It's only titles that are Xbox Play Anywhere.
Yeah, Play Anywhere is their key. And they started that with the Xbox One era.
But I didn't, it's to me, and maybe I just am not knowledgeable about this because I don't play a ton of Xbox anymore, as the console, the physical console. Yeah.
Shocked.
That
outrage.
That I don't understand what Play Anywhere is, and it's not There's no big red thing that says, "Oh, hey, this is a Play Anywhere title, and you can play it on your handheld."
It's a
or
bottom
your
of box thing.
So like, I think that's for me.
It's
I was
labeled.
confusing. Yeah, or I was
It's
confused.
labeled in the store, but it's usually. But I also think that it's one of those.
Well, I guess I can just look at it.
It's one of those things where I think that for people who don't like to define things as precisely, that's a better word. They don't like to define things as precisely as we do. And I think everyone who's listening to us would, right? That for them, not having it defined as Play Anywhere is going to be less confusing for them, right? They just literally want to play it anywhere, right? So as long as they can open up the app or like, pick up that handheld or turn on their Xbox and the game runs, they're like, great. Why would it matter how it's served to me? I can play the game. Well, I think for us, we're like, where is it? Where is it coming from? So my doorbell's ringing insistently. I'll be right back.
No worries.
I wish that I'm just going to talk so we can get Elena off the screen while she's away.
Good job.
I wish that every game these days were cross-play, cross-compatible, pick it up and play, but I don't think that's ever going to happen with all the console owners taking a cut and Steam.
That's it. And the rules, so the cross-play, cross-compatible thing, they required Windows Store versions of the game for games on Game Pass from like 2021 on or something like that. The problem with that is for a long time, because of the API choices that they required for the Windows Store versions of Xbox games, the performance was worse on the Windows Store than either the Xbox Series X or the same version of the game on Steam. And it requires developers to have a separate build pipeline. So if you have a live service game, instead of building 2 copies of the game, one for Xbox and one for PC, you're building a third that's packaged entirely differently because the Xbox had kind of insane requirements. And so it was literally the worst of both worlds. Like a lot of indie studios I know have gotten returns on the Xbox side because they try to run benchmarks on their PC games that they get from the Windows Store or they get from Game Pass on Windows, and the performance is worse there than their friends on Steam that have the exact same hardware. Now, Microsoft has done some work in the last few years to make that less of an issue. So shout outs to them, but it shouldn't have been an issue in the first place, right? Like if your janky Windows API is causing performance regressions, then they should have fixed that immediately, and it shouldn't have taken 2 years.
But maybe this is just teething pains.
I mean, it's a 20-year-old platform, man. 25. The Xbox has been around since 2001.
I'll give you 2010 for the Windows Store or Microsoft Store, whatever they called it back then. That's when they started doing this, and unfortunately, it was so terrible for its first 5 years that I've completely sworn off the Microsoft Store. I will never use it.
Yeah.
And I think Microsoft needs to fix this. They need to fix this hard. They should have fixed this in the last 15 years. And I don't know. I just don't have a lot of faith. If they are looking to transition the Xbox to something more like a Windows PC with an Xbox mode, I don't have faith in Microsoft's PC expertise, considering that we're still sitting here talking about stuff like this.
Also, I did look it up. The launch of Play Anywhere was September 13th, 2016. So, I mean, that's,
Gears.
Xbox,
that's
I think Gears is one of the first ones.
It was actually Recore, which was a good Metroidvania.
That's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
I actually kind of like that game. Yeah. I
actually have a question. Oh, sorry.
Please, no. Elena,
my
you in the
rhythm was all
front.
thrown off because I was not expecting someone to be like on my doorbell.
Well, all the yes.
And I was like, can you all hear it? I don't know what's happening.
No,
oh, you couldn't hear it. Good.
No.
That's why so everyone's like, why is she like trailing off in her thought? That's why. So I had kind of a general question for you all because I was wondering, do you really think, like, regardless what we're calling it, regardless if it's Xbox or, if the whole industry tries to move towards this idea of like unified gaming, like, I can't see a way around this kind of, not hardware limitation, but development almost maybe limitation, which is that for consoles, one of their biggest advantages is that you have this consistent experience because you can develop for specifically that hardware, right? And so if we go away from that as a concept, I mean, I don't think PlayStation's going to end. Like, Japan loves PlayStation. Like, and I mean, we
When
had an article go up
Nintendo is
today on
selling
the
like
website,
gangbusters.
and that too.
Yeah.
Well, they have digital stuff too, but like Japan loves physical media still. Japan loves this like kind of concept, right? So it's going to be very healthy there, at least. Xbox never got traction there. So Xbox is actually doesn't have a market that necessarily is going to continue to support it, right? So I can see it almost dying off as an idea. But this idea of like consoles as in general, like I don't think that's going to go away. So if we lose in the Western market, if we lose this idea of like a strong console sort of development sort of thing, like what's going to happen for our games on PC? Like, are we ever going to be able to like, do you think that would open up resources to make games run better, given that they have to accommodate for so many different configurations? Or do we think we're just going to lose that as an option for if you don't want to deal with like the lack of optimization?
So they've actually talked about this on Digital Foundry.
Yeah.
One Digital Foundry has covered this a lot. Because also I think the thing is that Digital Foundry, they do fantastic work over there, looking at the performance of both PC and console games. And unfortunately, the console games are not coming out optimized either. So like having that built-in platform to spec for is not working out the way it used to either. And there's like some games have like 8 different performance options, and it's just like, what do these even mean? What do they do? I don't know. I'll watch the Digital Foundry video to pick which one.
I think we've already heard a bunch of complaints from developers about having to support Xbox Series S because it's so much lower spec than the Xbox Series X.
A lot of people still have to support Xbox Series 1. It was just recently that Microsoft dropped the, hey, you have to have an Xbox Series 1 version for Game Pass.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's absolutely insane.
Yeah.
But I think it's just going to be 1,000 times worse if... I think Microsoft is going to end up coming out and putting out a high-end machine. Who knows what that costs? I wouldn't be surprised if it costs $800-900, seeing as how they just moved the Series X to, what, $650? Like, it's going to be a very high-end thing. But if they do plan on having other, like, you know, handhelds, possibly have other people open up, like, Steam machines, do their own consoles with the same software, like, not being able to hit a specific spec is going to hurt them. I think what also is going to hurt them, like, if they do wind up transitioning to Windows for the next Xbox, it should still boot in as an Xbox. It should be an Xbox, in my opinion. And then you have to hit a button to get to the PC land and do all the Steam stuff.
Which is how it is on this well.
But
like
this,
it defaults launching into the Xbox front end.
this is a bad implementation. Like,
well, I mean, but it can be.
Saying,
we're still talking about years off. Maybe they could refine this. You know,
I mean, if they're going to build this on Windows and it's user accessible Windows, which I highly doubt for a whole multitude of reasons, because one of the big benefits of consoles right now is you don't have to do a bunch of anti-cheat stuff. That is related to users having access to system memory and things like that. And they can get around that with secure boot, and there's a bunch of ways to maybe work that out on a Windows situation that's a little more locked down. But they also need to not ship OneDrive in Teams and hit you with the, hey, have you considered signing up for Office Live 360, whatever they call it now? Do you need Office on this gaming handle? No, don't do that to people. Like, you can't do that on a gaming device. It's ridiculous. And I don't know that Microsoft in the current incarnation can give up the chance of selling through Office to a 1/10% of people who buy the next Xbox.
I would be a lot more into this idea of the next Xbox being a Windows PC if they haven't just spent 3 years massively fumbling the opportunity for Windows PC handhelds.
Yeah.
I mean,
like, bottom line.
Well, I mean, and continuing to in a lot of ways. Well, real quick, I do want to go back to the Digital Foundry thing. So the other part of the equation, based off of what you said with the minimum spec on the console side, but also we've seen it as a positive for the Steam Deck to have that level minimum spec, which is like essentially Series X, or I'm sorry, S kind of performance. Yeah. Like, or maybe even underneath, like that. Digital Foundry, and I'm just, this is what I'm regurgitating them. This is not an Adam thought, that actually now more than ever, games are just needing to learn how to scale really well, from everything from a Steam Deck to a 5090 kind of thing. So,
but I mean, that's the thing that takes work, and it takes
I mean, but they're going to do that anyway, regardless of the Xbox thing, because of the Steam Deck. You talk about that all the time.
They
that
are
the Steam Deck is a really good entry level.
But it's a resolution situation too, because it's a 1280 by 800 device versus a 4K device, which is what we're talking about for the consoles. The thing that's happened.
Well, I don't. Do they try to pitch the Xbox Series S as a 4K device?
Nobody cares about the Xbox Series S is a 1080p, but nobody cares about it because those people don't buy
either
games.
way. I'm saying like we don't know what they're trying to pitch for the new console, but
the general perception in the indie community right now, at least with the people that I talk to, and it's a small sample size, but it's more than a handful, is that nobody is buying software on the 360. If you have players, on the 360,
I hope they're not buying it on 360 because that's dead.
On the Xbox. Sorry, I keep looking at you.
I was like,
Lundberg.
what?
And I go back
yeah, I'm gonna need you to.
Nobody's buying games on the Xbox. Like, people are playing, if they're playing games on the Xbox, it's through Game Pass, and the number of people actually spending money on software on the platform is very low outside of Game Pass. So what that means is, if I'm a game developer and I'm looking at supporting platforms, I'm going to choose Steam and PlayStation and Switch, and maybe build a dedicated render pipeline for the Steam Deck even, or at least a dedicated preset for the Steam Deck, and probably not going to ship on the Xbox. Unless Microsoft is going to pay me money to put my game on Game Pass.
Well,
I was
except
just
for
talking
what is an
about
Xbox?
If it's that, then nobody's buying that thing.
Yeah, $1,000. I was just talking about I sold my Xbox Series S, which I actually managed to get for $150 when it came out, so it was a deal, and I sold it for $300, so it turned out.
That's a pretty good deal. Yeah, I should sell mine.
But I never bought a game for it. I do have games in my Microsoft account, like through PC reviews and different buying stuff and stuff like that. So I have a handful of games, but I'm exactly that person. I just had Game Pass in a $150 Series S for a few years. So I think it happens a lot more. Like, a bunch of my friends are like that too. I think that happens a lot.
Yeah, but that's what I'm wondering why. I mean, I don't know if this really counts as in shitification, but sorry, it's an actual term.
It's a term of art.
Yeah.
But I actually think that this was kind of the plan, right? Where you are basically selling hardware so you can, for analogy purposes, not literally, like to almost like stream something, right? Like it's almost like if like Netflix were to sell a device so that you could just stream whatever you wanted to watch from their service, because the whole point is a subscription, right? And I think that the data that you just cited, Will, or the information you just cited kind of backs that up, which is like they wanted so badly to move to this idea of being a services company, right? Like that was the whole thing that they started 10 years ago with even Windows 10. They decided to move away from the idea of selling software, of selling hardware, and they've wanted to just become this like services company where you're just selling subscriptions. But I think what we're also seeing is like that's kind of buckling. Like it's not really working, because if you don't get people to buy things on a particular thing, what attachment do they have to that thing? What is the point of them owning that thing?
Well, also, what if
the second that they increased Game Pass to $30 a month, I'm like, screw that. I'm not paying $30 a month for that. And then I didn't need my Xbox anymore, and I sold it to somebody.
Well, I mean, you could still get Game Pass on the PC,
exactly.
But Elena, what if they're taking it a step further and they're not trying to worry about the service anymore, and they are focusing on just being a publisher? Hey, you know what? If we make a game and we can release it everywhere, not just an Xbox, then they could just focus on that.
Make money on it, though, right? Like it doesn't matter if you are the publisher or you are the hardware producer. You have to make money, right, to sustain. That's why I think that's honestly why we're seeing this contraction, right? Like they spent so much money on these studios, and then they started shuttering them, which is so heartbreaking, because that means that's all these pieces of entertainment, if not art, that we're losing because those people can't work in this industry anymore. And I think it's because, like with anything with a subscription, if it's not being subsidized somehow, if it's not being funded somehow, and you're not paying the true cost of what it really takes to run that service, it's going to collapse. I mean, that's why publishing shrank, right? Because it was the advertisers that were underwriting really the whole operation to a degree. And so when all that moved online, there was nothing to be able to make it affordable for people to just actually pay for the cost of the newspaper or the magazine. So that's how things have shifted. I don't know, like I just think that if they want to be sustainable as a publisher, their studios have to make money, right? They have to be able to sell copies of games. Like, yeah, it's a great deal if you do nothing but game all the time, spending $360 a year to play almost any game that you really want, mostly.
Asterisk.
Assuming you have a console, is great. That's a great value. But for most of us, like, I've been playing Overwatch so much in the last couple of years, I haven't bought a game in a long time.
Well, I was going to
So
say,
how do they make money off of me and my friends? They're like, here's a new Mercy skin. Hey, did you want something for Moira's nails? Like, do you want this other thing? You buy the battle pass, right? That's how they're being able to I don't even know if they're actually sustaining anything on that.
well, so that's.
But if you just like, sorry, okay, I'm just
you're
gonna
good.
like splutter indignantly at this point. So go ahead, Will.
I was just going to say that's the other thing that's happening in the industry, right? There's two other factors that are happening that we're not really talking about here that are definitely impacting the Game Pass situation as well. One is that the cost of game development is continuing to rise as everything is getting more expensive, and the push toward higher quality fidelity on games like Battlefield 6 and Call of Duty and Oblivion Remaster and all of these giant AAA games. We're seeing budgets, including marketing, that are $200-300 million in some cases, which is crazy, right?
Nuts.
Right. It's a lot of money, but it's also something that when you're selling as a box good is $60. And the reason companies like Microsoft like these service-based businesses better is because instead of the lines being really up and down and spiky and impossible to predict and hit driven and your entire marketing, your entire game studio arm success for a year living and dying based on one game release, they're just saying, look, the $15 a month line just keeps going up. Now, the other thing is that people's time is being absorbed by live service games. So Fortnite and Overwatch and Apex Legends and Call of Duty, which is kind of live service but kind of not in a weird way, and all these other games that are mostly free to play, League of Legends, Counter-Strike, these games that are free to play are absorbing an incredible amount of time for players who probably used to buy at least 2 or 3 $60 titles a year, and they're just not doing that anymore. Yeah, like you.
That was me.
So
I used to be such a dedicated Assassin's Creed fan, and I am now like solidly like 2 games behind. And I'm like, oh, I'll get to that eventually, but it's going to be eventually because every time I sit down to game, my friends are like, hey, you want to join us for the match? And in my head, I'm like, I don't know, man. But yeah, okay, I want to be social. So here we go.
yeah.
I do want to clarify. I have a mistake here.
Oh, did you find the football game?
Yeah, it's not actually called NCAA. I searched for NCAA.
Oh,
it's EA Sports College Football 25. It is in the Microsoft Store. It says it is included in Game Pass. It does not say Xbox Play Anywhere, including the Ultimate Game Pass, but I think that's because of the EA thing. And it says it's playable on Xbox Series X and S and Xbox Cloud Gaming, which you can play on here, meaning you can play it on here.
but not if it's not connected to the internet.
Not locally.
It's playable. It's playable.
Not locally.
Also,
That's a good check. I
that's
will
a good
say,
yeah, I had it wrong. Yeah.
I feel like we're wrapping up here. Just to maybe toss a controversial statement out here. If the Xbox does come out and it's $700 or $800, but it delivers enough bang for the buck because of economies of scale that it's significantly better value than what you could get for a $700 or $800 gaming PC, and it lets you go into Windows and play my Steam games and Epic games and all that stuff, I'm absolutely going to buy one. I don't think that's what normally people want, but as a PC enthusiast, like, I'm all about that.
So essentially but under your TV.
Yeah, absolutely.
As long as they get some of the other stuff figured out. I think
on
that's
that pricing,
the other problem.
On that pricing note, by the way, I actually did this is perfect because I wanted to throw this in before we moved on as well, because I actually went to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics to look at their inflation calculator.
Okay.
I just want to say what my source is.
Okay.
So people can replicate this for themselves. And their CPI inflation calculator, I put in the cost of a PlayStation 3 from 2006, the higher end model, which was $600 at launch in November of 2006.
You're going to get 2 jobs for
that. If inflation is such these days that if we were to calculate that for September 2025 dollars, that would actually cost you $967.15. So when we talk about this idea of a console sitting under your TV costing as much as $900, as you said earlier, Brad, when you threw out those numbers, that actually would track with inflation, and actually 800 would actually undercut what inflation is. So
same thing for game prices too. Everybody yells about, game prices are not $60 anymore. It's like, well,
this is like when my parents were like, candy bars used to cost 5 cents. And it's like, yeah, they did. And I know it's sticker shock to like go in there and see $1.25, and I get that. But I also think that this is us not really maybe wanting to give up this idea that for a while the scales of economy, the way that the global trade system worked, made it so possible for the relative prices to come down on goods, and now they're going back up. Now we're going back to, well, I mean, I'm not saying that it's justifiable, like this is fine. I'm just saying that like we are seeing a reverse of all these things that made it more affordable, and now we're starting to see it track with what things looked like when we didn't have those systems in place. That's more of my point.
And all consoles are trending up.
I think they are messing up because everything is getting more expensive these days. My rent is more expensive. I pay way more money to put gas in my car. My food bills are out of control. The problem with gaming companies is that they're a luxury. Like, I don't have to sit there and game. And so charging more than $60 for a game is a really hard sell to somebody who's like, do I spend $60 for a game? But that means I have to eat ramen for 2 weeks rather than getting some vegetables. So I don't know. Hard times.
It's exactly. It's hard times, right? Because the thing is that you can't necessarily say that it's a necessity, so they should drop the cost on it, or it should be subsidized. It just means that, unfortunately, and it's really sad, that like you won't be able to get as much of a break from these harsh realities through something like a video game.
In terms of your entertainment, depends on the game, I guess, but in terms of your entertainment dollar,
Fortnite's free.
I mean, free to play is hard to compete with. Overwatch 2, $39 for 1,000 hours of Elena time is probably hard to compete with, right? The amount of time I spent playing Helldivers 2, hard to compete with. But
I didn't even pay it.
Oh my god!
Someone bought the game for me.
but even looking at like an Assassin's Creed, like that Assassin's Creed Shadows game, or the new Ghost of Yotai game, Yotai, both really huge, enormous 100+ hour games that are $60, $70, $80. I don't know what they cost. You're getting a lot of value for that entertainment time, but it's really hard to compete with free.
I absolutely agree.
I do want to. So where I think Microsoft's head at is that, and I've said this before, I'll say it again here. I think the next thing we will see that Microsoft is going to try to sell to us as whatever the next Xbox is that goes under your TV is going to be the same exact thing like this. It is essentially a PC that is branded an Xbox. That one will be made by them physically. This one is not made by them. But who knows? Maybe they'll license it out and be like, oh, actually Asus does have their Xbox you could put under the TV. Because
do you think that Oh, sorry.
No, please. Well, it's today. 2 thoughts, so yeah, go for that one.
Real quick, I was just going to say, do you think that it will still be a uniform set of hardware specs, or do you think it'll be opened up? Because we have talked about this before on the show a little bit, and I'm wondering if you're still in the same spot you were with it.
Oh my God.
I mean, I'm going based off of rumors, right? There has been a bunch of leaks and rumors. I still kind of feel like Strix Halo, what we're seeing there is essentially going to be, potentially the next consoles. That's kind of lining up with a lot of the rumors too. And so I think so far from what I've seen is that the Xbox One will probably be more off the shelf, like, APU, like what's in a laptop, where the Sony one will probably be a little bit more bespoke. And I mean, they're doing that co-engineering, the Project Amethyst with AMD and Sony. So I think that one will be a little bit more bespoke, but I think the Xbox One will be more off the shelf, if that answers your question.
My guess is that they'll have an APU min spec, and they might do 1080p and 4K versions, but I can't imagine that they even bother. Like if they're using an RDNA 4 GPU that they can do real FSR on, real upscaling on, then they probably don't have to. It's probably just one device.
Yeah, maybe.
If it's not a closed spec, there's no reason to call it an Xbox, though, is my take.
right?
I just don't think that's a thing anymore. Like, I think that is the old way. They're trying to divorce themselves from looking at that. So, the next thing is where I think Microsoft's head at is I'm going to go over to I went over to the Xbox page and looked at top paid games. I mean, take it with a grain of salt. I don't know how they report the top paid games, but I think this is where Xbox is just looking in the future.
Is Battlefield 6 in the pass?
Game Pass? No, you can see the Game Pass thing. So Battlefield 6 is number 1 and 3 because there's 2 different versions.
but hold on, it's not in the EA version of the Game Pass too? I think it is.
You're asking me questions I don't know.
Look, I'm just curious.
Let me.
It's not standard Game Pass. I know that. I have Battlefield separately.
It's part of EA Play, but I don't know if EA
Pass.
Play is part of Game Pass.
Okay.
I feel like they would have said that though. Anyway,
okay.
Number 2, Minecraft. Number 4, Madden. Number 5, EA Sports FC 2026. Number 6, 2K26. Number 7, College Football 26. Number 8, Minecraft again, because they sell 2 different versions. Number 9, somehow Grand Theft Auto 4 on the Xbox 360.
So you can buy.
Number 10 is NASCAR 25.
Yeah, these are all microtransactions. Like all the sports games have major gambling elements that are basically like fantasy football that you can spend infinite money on.
Also, I know it's a little old. I do scroll down and I do see Silksong, which I don't believe they have any sort of microtransaction. Right?
And it was only $20.
Yeah. So, but I think that's where Microsoft is looking. They're not they're going to do some hardware. They're going to do some Game Pass stuff, but that's not the focus anymore. The focus is on just trying to get the most bang for their buck, which they don't own all of these properties, obviously, but they own a couple of them.
Oh, Game Pass.
Speaking of that, I just opened that page as well, and Alan Wake 2 is on sale for $17. And if you haven't played Alan Wake 2 and you have an Xbox, go play that.
Yeah. Let's see. Does it play anywhere?
I think Microsoft needs to split the difference, and that's what we're seeing this year with the $10 price increase, 50% price increase for Game Pass, because I think they are trying to become Sega 2.0, more of a publisher than anything else. But they need to be able to still make their money on games like Call of Duty without having Game Pass cannibalize it all. And I think that's why we're seeing all this stuff right here. They just spent too much money on Activision and Bethesda. Now they got to figure out the world, which is just going to make everything worse for us.
They can't loss lead on hardware or Game Pass anymore.
Elena, the dark future of what the next Xbox is it's just a real low-powered ARM chip with an NPU in it, so they can do neural processing on your video stuff, and it's just all streamed straight from the cloud at 320p, and then they upscale it.
Probably not ARM.
No, I'm just saying ARM upscale. Yeah, maybe. Also, perfect. It's what the kids crave. It up.
There are 2 tiers at least of EA Play. So the standard tier is what's included with Game Pass Ultimate. You have to subscribe to EA Play Pro, I think it's called.
Professional.
To get the I think day 1 launches of the biggest titles. So
that's hitting
TLDR. Battlefield is not probably going to be on that list.
That's hitting EA. That's hitting Adobe level monthly payments for your.
You want to be a professional gamer.
Applications.
Professional gamer. Yeah. So.
It's wild. We own nothing, and everything is terrible.
Can I one last thing? Somebody's talked about Steam Decks and why indie's targeting Steam Decks, even though they're small. It's a small market, and the last Valve numbers we've seen for Steam Deck are more than 4 million units sold. I think was the last one I saw, which was a year ago.
Not better than the GameCube. No, wait, it's better than the Wii U.
So. Wii U, I think, ended up at 14 million worldwide.
Oh, really?
But the point is, AMD a couple months ago hinted that the Xbox has sold fewer than 30 million units across the Series S and X this generation. So if you're looking at...
It's way more than Steam Deck.
It is way more, but the Steam Deck has all been sold more recently, and it's a system that's mainly used to play indie games. So if you're an indie game developer and you're looking at something to target, you're looking at something that's primed, people who are primed to buy your game, you're probably better off going with the Steam Deck than the Xbox at this point, because a lot of those Xboxes are like Brad's. They're sitting in his drawer until he decides to sell them because he canceled his Game Pass sub. Right? Anyway.
Sorry, I'm the problem.
Yeah. Okay.
I bought, to be fair, I bought dozens of games on PC over the same timeline. It's just that the Xbox was just my Game Pass machine for $150.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So 30 million Game Pass machines is of no value to me as a game developer.
Absolutely.
Unless I'm on Game Pass.
You know what?
And even then, not really.
So I want to preface this by giving some context here. I worked for Official Xbox Magazine for a number of years. Yeah. I still have multiple Xboxes in my home. If I weren't playing Overwatch, I would be playing on my console. I think it's wild that thinking about all of this, my first instinct was, well, you know what? As long as Microsoft kept making their controller and somehow they talked Sony into making compatible controllers for the PlayStation, I would switch to PlayStation. That's fine, because really the only thing making me not a PlayStation person is that I really love the Xbox controller. It just, for my hands, and I know everyone has a different opinion because we're all different people, right? I love that asymmetrical stick layout. It feels so much better on my hands. I have a third-party Hori controller for my PlayStation that I can play on, but I can never do as long of gaming sessions with it because it just doesn't feel quite as good as something like an Xbox controller. And I can't do the DualSense, DualShock type controllers with the symmetrical sticks. If I could get an Xbox controller that actually worked with a PlayStation, and I know there's like hacks you can do, but like actually officially supported, I'd be like, well, never saw this day coming, but I guess I'm jumping ship. It's like going from being a Coke fan to a Pepsi fan. It's like, well, that's what it is. I guess I'm still getting my cola. Like,
so that's Elena, you can use the 8-bit DOE USB dongle to make that happen, assuming you have the right era of Xbox controllers.
Wait, what?
Yeah, you can.
Did I miss this development?
You can plug that 8-bit DOE Bluetooth. I know it works on the Switch. I haven't tried it on the PS5 because I like the PS5 controller because I roll the other way. I like the bottom sticks.
I can test this.
I know
but yeah, I'm reasonably sure that you can plug that in. Now it says that there's a firmware update on the Xbox controllers that changes them from classic Bluetooth to BLE. So you may not want to update your firmwares, but yeah. Anyway.
Also,
I have to look this up now.
That was one of the things about the Xbox Ally X that people did love. I don't know if you read about that. Is that the inclusion of the ergonomic handles was definitely something a lot of people loved. The grips are great. Which so I would love to hear what you think as somebody who loves the traditional Xbox controller of this situation, because there is nothing like this on any of the handhelds right now. So
look. It feels like an even bigger version of the Duke as far as I'm concerned.
No, that's bad. That's bad for me.
No, that's great. Yeah. That's what the kids crave. Make them bigger.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. Xbox, they're focusing on other stuff. But, yeah. PC's where it's at. PC ecosystem. Just bring it in. Are
we doing questions now?
Yeah. I'm gonna need
We're doing questions?
Willis to move over to the Q&A section. That'd be right on. Terrific. If you want to get your questions in right now, then ask them in the chat. We're live.
I have one.
But if you want to get them in while Elaine is asking a question, and you're watching or listening to this later, there's a link to our Discord, our full nerd Discord, over in the description. There is a channel in that Discord that is called TFN Questions. You put questions in there, and maybe they'll be read here on the show. The first question comes in from one Elena Yee. What's happening?
Does candy taste better on Halloween or when you buy it on November 1st at a discount?
The answer is objectively Halloween. It's the day of candy.
Yeah.
That being said, as a fat man who I go and buy all those Snickers like yard sticks. Like you can buy like a yard of Snickers for like $4 on November 1st.
Wow.
That tastes really good as well, but it's because of quantity, not quality. Right on Halloween.
I find that after I really get into the feasting, because like we introduced a tax structure for the child's candy a few years ago, where she learns the harsh reality of adulthood.
Dad tax.
Yeah. Like if she wants us to take her trick or treating, then she's got to make with the good stuff, right? I'm not going to take any almond joys. I want $100,000.
Take a little off the top.
Yeah, just take my cut off the top.
Almond joys are great.
Almond joys are for bad people, Elaine. I'm sorry. Wow. It's the worst.
Well then,
candy.
you know what quality of person is.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. I mean, look. Yeah, but yeah. So she's got to make with the Twixes and the $100 grand. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Why don't they make small whatchamacallits? Why don't they make the candy the Halloween size whatchamacallits? That's what I want to know. We have 4 different kinds of Reese's now. No whatchamacallits.
You mean
question.
Reese's?
Follow-up question. What is the ultimate S tier Halloween candy for the US?
$100 grand. You get $100 grand in that bag, that's money.
Well, but specifically,
Literally.
what
Is
defines a Halloween candy, I guess?
It has to be the fun size. Something you get.
Oh, no, I was
going
going to say full-size candy bars are the ultimate.
Well,
so
I mean,
guess that's
look,
the answer.
we don't live in that
That's
kind of
actually the most American answer, Brad, that you could give. You're like, you know what? Forget these fun-sized, small, like piddly pieces of candy. This is America. We supersize it.
So this is going to be the first Halloween as an adult that I don't have any kids with me. So I'm not going to be, trick-or-treating with them. Yeah, hitting new milestones.
Wow.
So I'm like 50% in my head. Am I going to be the cool guy on the block who goes and gets a bunch of full-size candy bars and sits there handing them out? But I'm also considering, should I just dress up and go wander around trick-or-treating still? How do you guys think people react to a 47-year-old dude trick-or-treating?
Why don't you borrow some kids?
Borrow a kid, man.
Like find your neighbor, find the bad dad neighbor, and be like, hey, I'm running a service. For $40 and 10% of the candy, I'll take your kid trick or treating, so you can stay here and
But for real though, like this is brilliant. This is brilliant because everybody wins. I mean, maybe not the kids ultimately because they have a deadbeat dad, but you know what? At least for one day, they have a good dad. Yeah. Good one evening, they have a good neighbor. Dad. They get to enjoy the trick or treating. You have cover for wanting to go out trick or treating.
This is gonna be literally the first day in my life I have not gone trick or treating.
What
like since the time I was born, and it breaking me up inside.
This is
borrow someone's kid, Brad.
Yeah,
I'm sure there are parents who actually are good parents, but also wouldn't mind a break. Or the kid could have multiple trick or treat sessions, right? Like they get to go with you, they get to go with their parents.
I always feel bad because like we just put the bucket of candy with a sign that says, "Hey, be responsible, please." On it because like we both go trick-or-treating, but we also don't want to screw over the kids that come to our house and get toilet papered or whatever. So it's like, hey, just take a few. It's fun watching the kids on the camera, on the doorbell camera, because they come up and they like read the sign and they're like, oh, and then usually they just take one. But also we have a yeller that I can hit the remote button on from far away that screams at it from the bush behind the box.
That's wonderful. It's like watching the trolley car problem in real life.
Yeah, it really is. They're like, what's a reasonable amount? Is it 2? 2 seems reasonable, but some kids just go in with 2 fists, and that's when I hit the screamer.
That's amazing. I also think that like the culture in I don't know what other big cities are like. So I actually would be fascinated to know what it's like in growing up in Manhattan, right, versus a suburb. But I can say for San Francisco, it's gotten progressively more apathetic. Like most of the houses are dark. Like you don't really see kids wandering. Like I think because of the scares around like tainted candy and things like that. Like more often parents will take their kids to like a mall or like some place where like they can more trust the source of the candy, right? Like it's very different than when I was a kid. I grew up in San Francisco and it was like completely different then.
But the other thing that's happened I was
gonna say I just find it fascinating, these like stories of people saying like, yeah, like we're gonna get TP'd if we don't have candy. Meanwhile, when I was growing up, I was like, house is dark, I don't think I want to ring that doorbell. I don't know what's gonna happen if I ring that doorbell.
Well, so we have decorations out, but also like the thing that's happened in the last 10 years is that like the good neighborhood has concentrated all the children in our town. So like there's good neighborhoods on each side of town, and it's like there's this court that's a circular court and it's closed. They block it off so there's no cars.
It's always a court.
It's like a half-mile loop, and it looks like the scene from like a
mile.
Yeah, it looks like an 80s movie basically. Like it looks like an 80s movie on Halloween because there's 1,000 people. There's adults pulling wagons of beer around. There's people with like lighted costumes. Like it's an actual street party, and it's really fun to the point that like our San Francisco friends come down. There's a neighborhood in San Francisco out by Stonestown that's similar that we've been to. But
really?
Yeah, it's real bougie. They do full sizes there, and it's in the HOA. They can't do not full sizes because the HOA requires it, is my understanding.
What?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow, like only in San Francisco. I'm waiting for us to gather all the listener questions because I'm stalling a little bit, but also because I generally just want to know these questions. But like, I saw a thing. I sent it to Brad, where some dude created a jack-o'-lantern, but it was meant to scare adults. He basically made it so it was a motion detector that when you walk by, it makes the Slack knock brush sound.
Oh no! Oh, sorry.
And it actually lights up a Slack logo in the correct colors. So you just walk by it and they set off this motion sensor and it goes. I was just like, that to me seems like a San Francisco thing, just because there's so fewer children here, and like I could see the adults just walking around being like, oh my god, is that your phone or mine?
Just suddenly pull out their phone and be like, oh, got a message from boss.
It's like that of the team sound, apparently.
Oh, well.
Yeah. We got a couple questions in. From Y Cross asks, which device on the desk smells the best? So I'm gonna have to, I'm gonna go ahead and have to do some science here. Okay.
Here you go. You can hear you whiffer of that one.
For the audio listeners, Brad is shaking his head and rubbing his eyes.
What's going on?
As they have the dudes in the office just smell everything, including Will's laptop.
Okay. He picked it up and sniffed it and then just went, okay.
Oh, this Xbox smells bad.
Yeah.
It smells like flux. Lenovo's no scent.
Well, it hasn't been on.
Oh.
I'm letting it warm up for a minute.
I'm saying the iPhone smells best. I haven't smelled your laptop yet, though.
Smells like Cheetos.
Yeah.
Your iPhone smells like your pocket.
Yeah.
So
I like the way my pocket
I think
smells.
that's why you appreciate that. I'm gonna say the Legion Go 2, actually. I appreciate
What does it
the
smell
smell
like?
of that.
Can you describe the bouquet?
It has a little of a fresh scent to it compared to the Xbox.
Like laundry fresh?
Yeah, a little bit, just a little hint of freshness. Maybe because I loaded.
Wow, what was that noise?
Sun fresh?
Oh wow, that's weird. Interference.
Well, I think it's also because I loaded Bazite on it over the weekend instead of Windows, so it just smelling more fresh. Yeah, I'm gonna say that.
Wow, it's the Bazite smell. That
fresh
fedora smell.
No, no. Yeah.
Wow, Will, what a pun.
Okay, another question from Robert Ozek. Lena, I'm gonna have to give this one to you. Is inflation actually the full picture if employees don't pay to keep up with it during the same period?
Wait, what?
You tried to calculate the PS3 price adjustment, but it does not scale the same with the employee pay adjustment. So is it fair?
But those are two different things, right? So those are two different things. Inflation is going to happen regardless if we get paid that's in a way that's indexed to inflation, which we all are painfully aware that usually doesn't happen for us as workers, unfortunately.
You know what I just realized the other day? So I'm like baldy and I got white hair. My kid just got engaged. I mentioned that last week.
Congratulations.
The minimum wage has been the exact same since I entered the workforce. So this person's making a fine point, but it doesn't change the fact that, federal minimum wage.
Like when I paid for college by doing night work, I was paid $20 an hour to pull Ethernet, right? And that was in 1994, 1995. Like it's crazy.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think honestly, it's just rough out there. And the problem is that inflation is happening, right? So even though our wages aren't going up, it doesn't change the fact that the cost of things are going up, that the inflation is happening. So it's unfortunate. That's the whole reason why everyone's pinched. It hurts, right? Because as Brad said, the federal rate hasn't really changed at all. If you happen to live in a state that does raise it, that's good on the one hand, but then that also has the knock-on effect too of raising costs for businesses. So then it is kind of a cycle there too. Yeah.
Okay.
So the person who asked that question has a fair point, but it's apples and oranges, unfortunately, but not quite.
Yeah. This one's coming in from friend of the show, Ivan R. What's happening? Can consoles get a virus? If not, does it make consoles superior to personal computers?
Consoles, everything can get viruses. The consoles are generally pretty locked down, so you can't run arbitrary code on them, so it would require some sort of special exploit. As far as I know, we've never seen somebody running an exploit on consoles.
No.
It can get viruses.
Everything can get
Everything can get viruses, even Mac.
Yeah.
But the likelihood of getting a virus is low. And
unless you're doing stuff to it.
Yeah. Follow-up question.
Homebrew.
Does it make consoles superior to PCs?
I mean, in that regard, sure. Why not? Whatever.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You get a Chromebook, too, if you're worried about PCs.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, or you could just use paper. No viruses on paper.
That's fair.
Just hand.
I mean, no,
hand
actually,
typewriter.
technically, you can get viruses potentially on paper. They're just a different kind of virus.
Kind.
More literal.
Okay. Friend of the show, Sneaky Balcony, changed their name, said, will we ever transcend beyond keyboard and mouse for an input methodology? I don't think they're meaning just gaming. I think they just mean
I don't know what
computing.
you mean by transcend when we're already at the peak, brother.
I mean...
Well, did you see the news report? I think there's like a Kickstarter or something for like some kind of like ring-like device that's supposed to like be able to understand different gestures, and I think you can map them so for control. So I think people are experimenting with other forms of like human input devices.
This is the thing that
The
comes
fact that I need an ergonomic keyboard instead of a standard keyboard, to me, Brad, does not say that we've reached the pinnacle. Like, it's not quite there. But I don't know if we found a good, affordable replacement because it's so ubiquitous now. Like the whole industry is like set up for it, right?
There's the
ATX.
The new wristband thing that Oculus is shipping with the Meta glasses, the ones with the screen. And the fidelity on that is reportedly pretty good, but it's not the same as a keyboard, right? You can't. It's like gestures and pinches and grabs, not hey, I'm typing it 100 words.
A lot of text input.
I'm into that idea actually. I think for what we have now, keyboard and mouse is the pinnacle. Like I say this as somebody who actually plays a lot of games with controller because I spend all day with my keyboard and mouse. But I've tried a lot of the alternate control methods, like the different VR stuff, the thing where you have things like that and you're strapped in on the 360-degree treadmills and I forget what's called stinky feet or something like that.
Yeah,
like people are trying new stuff, but keyboard and mouse are pretty hard to beat and I think pretty ubiquitous. So it's a good combo.
I would love to see an iteration, a change. I think this is probably going to stick around for a while longer, but I would love to see some kind of more ergonomic, more natural feeling set of inputs for mice, at least. I just find it like I often will now default choose a touchscreen laptop because to me, trying to use a trackpad, trying to use a mouse is just so less efficient to me than just literally reaching out and tapping on the screen what I want to like move the thing to and
or
to
just
select
scrolling.
things.
You just go boop, boop, boop.
Or just scrolling.
I'm 100% the opposite.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. We need more options. That's the thing. Like it's more of a preference thing too. So like if I had like a device on my hands that like if I could just basically use that to navigate things on screen, I would find that a lot easier for a lot of my like repetitive stress injuries, that kind of thing, and more efficient. I think I'm just more of a tactile person in general. So to me, it does feel limiting that we're still on mouse and keyboard. Do they work pretty well? Yeah, of course.
I think until we get to direct brain interfaces that I'm actually going to use, like that's not a first generation product for me. That's like let's give this a little bit and see how it kind of works out for people. But yeah, when the direct brain interfaces are good, then maybe that'll be better than mouse and keyboard.
Okay. Lena, you've man, people are really triggered by your inflation comments here. The
All
funk phenomena.
Really?
As
It's on Discord.
Wouldn't the launch MSRP of the PS4 be a better metric to use and account for inflation, seeing how the PS3 was looked at as being priced too high when it came out?
Well, that's fair.
People bought it.
Not that many though.
People
Not at
bought
first.
it.
Not until it got cheap.
All right, let's look at the PlayStation 4 then.
That was
open to
also
it.
just a comparison she did off the cuff while we were chatting in
Yeah.
the middle of things. So it's not extremely academic. It's just illustrative.
Yeah. Wow.
We're not economists.
Chill out
It's
here,
like we
people.
always say on
Chill-
the
yeah.
Blue Diaries. We're not economists. We're just
Well,
we're
that
just
too.
some people here using computers. You know?
Yeah.
PlayStation 3 cost so much and nobody could code for it.
Yeah, I'm gonna need
Great
you
combo.
to chill out
Oof.
on
Yeah.
the references
I'm
for
open
inflation.
to it. That's fine.
While you're looking that up, do you want some time, or
I got it.
Okay.
It's $557 in today's money.
And how much? It was $400 at launch.
Yeah.
the standard?
I was
PS4?
there. Yeah, I was there with Hayden.
Yeah, and that was actually from my understanding, if I'm remembering a decade ago correctly, that was an off the cuff decision. Basically, I think if I remember right, they had been poised to launch, I think, at the same price as the Xbox, but because Xbox presser went first and they saw the reception to it, and this was actually honestly a little inside baseball here. This was honestly an astonishing story for me to hear at the time because historically a lot of the Japanese companies kind of ruled the whole conglomerate with an iron fist. Like, so Sony of Japan had final say and dictated everything, right? And so the fact that the North American reps were like, hey, we really think that you should change this based on what's happening here in real time, and like they got the go ahead within hours, like amazing, because they came out and they were like, we can still use your disc, you can still game the way that you want to, and it's $100 less, and everyone was like, whoa, so yeah.
I went to that E3. E3 back then was an industry show. So typically just people who are watching this, if you're in the industry, you don't clap and cheer for things. Like I'm there to cover stuff, not cheer for it. That's the one event that I've been to where like I wasn't even in the room where it was announced. I was watching it back in the press room where we were working. And it was just a roar reverberated throughout that entire
There
LA
was
freaking building. Yeah.
There were reactions. Like I was part of the home team for that one, I think. No, was I on site? I think I was actually on site that time. It was a buzz. And like, again, especially because back then we like a lot of times like press conferences didn't usually have as many of like the actual rank and file employees attending, so you didn't hear the clapping and cheering that you do sometimes now during press briefings. It was really just press more so it was a lot quieter typically. Like you politely clap, when just keep the presenter from feeling discouraged, but it wasn't like this whole like actual like big reaction that Brad just mentioned.
That one was in an arena too, right? I think I feel like I was there for that one.
That was E3.
Yeah.
That was E3. Yeah, the wherever that's at, the LA convention.
Some big convention. Yeah. The thing with the other thing that happened on that one is that video that Shu and Boys recorded in their hotel room of how to share a PS4 game after Microsoft had defined the like 22-step process required to share an Xbox game, and they were just like, hey, here's how you do it, and they handed a disc from one person
Here you
to
go.
another. Yeah, it was fantastic.
That was amazing. That was legendary.
And it was so crazy too. Like we're like off in the weeds here, but like it was so crazy to me too, because it's like honestly a lot of the features that Microsoft mentioned were actually quite revolutionary for the time. The fact that you could digitally share with so many different people, and then they ended up having to walk it all back because they presented it so poorly.
Well,
It's like Windows Mobile, man. Microsoft has the right ideas. They just have them 10 years too early.
look, like I said, it's just like the other guys, but slightly worse.
But thought leaders,
Right.
are ahead of the curve.
I've done the inflation calculation as well for the original Xbox, which launched in 2001 at $300. In today's or September 2025 money, that would be $550. So I guess the $500 price point probably seems more reasonable to people for that reason. I also think that one of the reasons I chose the PlayStation 3 is not just because it was off the cuff, but it was because I specifically think we are looking at hardware that is becoming increasingly skewed towards high end. Like this idea that if they're going to release something, it needs to have the bells and whistles so they can market it and get it like attention for it. Because we're not like just look at the ROG on your ROG Ally on your desk,
It's
Uh,
right? Like they
pronounced ROG, Republic of Gamers, Elena.
The ROG on your desk. Like they could have chosen to do a lower SKU, but they didn't, because how are they going to market that, right? Like how are they going to come out with a splash?
Well, they actually do have a lower SKU. There's
But
a
it's-
cheaper
But
ones.
like
So-
that's not on, like that's not the the highlight. That's not the one you have in your hands.
Yeah. And they do definitely position it this way as like, I mean, and to be fair, Lenovo does this as well for this device. They're like, hey, this is a high-end system. If you want the best of the best, that's what we're offering here.
High-end. It's
we do have cheaper options if you want, but that's why we're going so high. Yeah, I'm going to have to move on here. A couple more questions. One from friend of the show, Brian. More of a poll with a follow-up. A couple questions here, okay. What percentage of PC building nerds are also into NAS/Home Labs? ?
Oh, that's got to be 100%, right? 100%? You take the last PC, you knock it downhill, and then you're like, wow, this is costing a lot of electricity. I'm going to make something smaller and cheaper. And then next thing you know, you're spending $800,000, $900,000 on hard drives every 3 years. I don't know how that happened. I don't know. I'm not talking about me or anyone else I know particularly. Definitely didn't make a podcast.
No, of course not. It's hypothetical.
Yeah, it's completely hypothetical person.
Yeah, interesting.
100% hypothetical.
Elena, do you have a NAS and/or Home Lab?
Okay, so I have a question for that question.
Okay. One question from Elena E. What defines a NAS or a Home Lab?
And this is not me trying to weasel out of the question. Like, it's a genuine question because the way I hear it is that they're talking about like homebrew NAS, not off-the-shelf NAS. Because it sounds like they're talking about people who are high-end and like enthusiasts about hardware in general. Because I actually feel like such a fraudulent nerd. Like I don't know how someone let me in at this table. I'm going to sit here and talk anyway. But because I just use off-the-shelf stuff. Like I'm not messing with, what was it, pfSense? I'm not messing with like any of the hardware. I just went and I got myself a Synology NAS. I shoved in a couple of drives.
I think that 100% counts.
That's it.
I have a Synology NAS too.
I do as well. So yeah. Brad, do you have a NAS or a Home Lab at home?
God, no. I mean, I used to be big into that kind of stuff back when it mattered. But these days honestly, most of the stuff, like I have Spotify, like I have my main PC for all my games and stuff like that. But in general, 99% of the stuff I do is either through work or I'm always testing different PCs and laptops and stuff. So I like to be able to hop into any PC and have it be my setup. So a lot of my stuff is just cloud-based these days. And I've never been overly sentimental about photos or anything like that. So I don't have any data that I consider insanely critical enough to have in a NAS beyond my USB backup drive.
The thing that I've found is that it's really nice having a small, lightweight, always-on computer. Whether that's for like Plex movies or something. Like when my kid was little and was turning expensive DVDs into coasters regularly, I got real into Plex. And then hey Dad, the Lion King doesn't play anymore. Well, I'm sorry, that's in the vault. This is pre-Disney Plus, obviously. And let me tell you, that's $100 problem if you want a used copy of the Lion King after it's back in the vault. Anyway,
Really?
Well, Disney. This is why parents
you can't
love Disney
even
Plus.
buy it you can't buy it for someone on eBay who just wants to sell their copy?
It was so expensive on eBay because they know they've got you.
That's wild. Got to go through like estate sales, man.
Yeah. Well, so or Goodwill was a good place to find that stuff too. But it was easier, it turns out, just to rip the disc and put it on a old gaming PC in the garage and then stream it into the living room. But having I have a document server that's running on my NAS now, on my little server, that basically I can dump anytime I have a PDF that I'm like, oh, I got to save this. Instead of saving it in my Google Drive or someplace I'm never gonna be able to find it when I want it, I just dump all the important crap into that folder. So like mortgage, tax crap, all of that stuff goes in there. And then I have a searchable index of PDFs because it goes through an OCRs, anything that's not already searchable, which is incredibly useful. It's a bazillion little things like that though. Like I have an audiobook server that has all of the old copies of podcasts that are no longer listed on their main feeds because the parent companies stopped caring about the Maximum PC No BS podcast and stuff like that. So yeah, it's useful. It's useful to have an always on machine is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Brad, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You first.
I was just saying, I was surprised to hear you say that you don't because of the fact that you're on so many different PCs. Like that's the reason I have one, because I was just like, oh, I downloaded this file for work to this PC, but I'm on the other one today. It would be a lot easier if I just had the NAS where I could make that the central repository.
Yeah, no, I used to be really big into it. I used to have my own NAS. I used to have NAS. I used to I used to mess around. I had several Raspberry 5 powered, like a cluster NAS kind of a thing. I just did that for fun. But then once my house burnt down a couple years ago, I was sitting like, do I want to put all this work and money back into this? And it's just like, honestly, like I'm fine with what I have. I have basic backup solutions, but that's really all I need. So
I'm actually with you, Brad, because I do have a Synology NAS, but it is really old from back in the day when I was doing a lot more personal photography and things like that. So like I don't like right now it's just kind of a storage spot for all that stuff, but I could put that anywhere else. I actually like wouldn't need it. I wouldn't replace it. It's something that I just like, I need to get those files off and put them somewhere else, but I don't actively need a NAS anymore.
Yeah, so my house burnt down, 2 years ago, 2023, 2.5. And I still have the hard drives for my NAS. I have them if I ever need to go in there, but I have not once in 2 years had to go on there for any of that data. So that is part of the reason why. It's the reason I got rid of an optical drive a couple of builds ago, because I realized my previous build, I never used the optical drive once. In this case, it's like it's been 2 years. I've never touched any of this stuff.
And you gave it to Gordon.
With it?
Yeah. I feel like if my house burned down and the NAS went away, I would build it a lot differently than I have it now, right? Like I wouldn't go through and re-rip all these Blu-rays and stuff like that, because it turns out, no, because there's thousands of them and it was an incredible amount of work. And honestly, keeping the storage up for a 20 gig media collection is enormous, right? Because you're looking at replacing the drives every 3 years, 4 years, just because they get hinky after running nonstop for a long time. And even with shuck stop, it's still pricey. So, but I would absolutely buy a B-Link and put like a 2 terabyte SSD in it and run a bunch of little containerized applets, because it turns out that being able to run software that's always on, like Home Assistant and Pi-hole and all those kinds of things, is an audio bookshelf and is really powerful.
It's funny because, like, honestly, for someone who owns a NAS, like, I probably use it so little to justify it. Like, I probably could have just put a standard external drive, like, attach that to my router, and that would have probably worked just as well. But I like the control, because, like listening to you talk about yours, I have a friend who, I don't know how he has this discipline, but he loves collecting DVDs and Blu-rays. And so he has this massive collection, and he will just steadily, devotedly rip them as he gets them, so he can just add them to his collection. I mean, he must have a massive trove at this point. I think the last time I spoke to him, he was thinking of upgrading his NAS, and he's like, yeah, so I'm going to probably do like 4 terabyte SSD. So he's like definitely sinking cash into this, right? And I'm just like, you do it, man.
Do you know what hardware he uses to rip? Like what's his computer that he rips on? Or does he make decisions based off that? Like, oh, you know what? I should go with more cores because I need to rip.
No, actually, no. I think he's so dependable with it. Like he's just like so steady that he just like has a habit. Like I think he just like will just set it up before he goes to bed, and it just like works overnight. And then he doesn't really have to think about it, even though that to me is like a lot of thinking about it. And I think he's still running the 5800 X3D system that I actually recommended to him a few years ago.
Still a good system.
I was like, when I was ripping discs, I would just I had 2 steps. So I would rip an image to a temporary folder and then dump that image into Handbrake or whatever. I had a script that did it all automatically, and it would just generate MKVs out of the rip thing with all the audio stuff that I ripped using and make MKV. Yeah. So
wow.
So you ended up with like there's 2 different like the other approach is just to rip an ISO and dump that into whatever your Jellyfin or Plex or whatever you use. And then you get the entire thing, but a Blu-ray is 50 gigabytes in some cases at that point.
Yeah,
and it ends up taking a lot of space. So yeah. Anyway,
Willis, do you have a NAS at home?
I do not.
No, yeah, nothing.
No.
Like that.
Let's go, Willis.
Yeah.
There you go.
Right. But I was in
alliances are being formed.
NASless in Oakland.
At one point, I was in that time of like ripping DVDs as well, but I didn't have like a massive library either. But
you just put it in like an external drive.
Hard drive. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
There's some stuff I'll probably always keep around. Like I like to have a beer or two and listen to Ben Affleck talk about Armageddon occasionally, and that commentary is basically impossible to find outside of, I think, a Criterion edition of Armageddon that came out on DVD. It is, if you've never listened to this, it is incredible because it's when DVD commentaries were new and he didn't know what he was supposed to do, and they just put him in a room with a microphone and put the movie on in front of him, and then he just talks for 2.5 hours. It is beautiful.
Is it just like all the stuff that he wasn't supposed to say without a handler?
It is. It's a little bit. It's a lot of that. It's a lot of like him just getting increasingly a little bit buzzed while he's talking about this movie and like talking about how cool Billy Bob Thornton is, and it's definitely worth seeking out. If you don't have it, I will give you the audio track.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We're gonna need to go ahead and wrap it up there. Check back next week for your fix of PC Talk here on the Full Nerd. Yeah. To watch us live, please go over to the YouTube channel. There's a YouTube channel called the Full Nerd Network. Subscribe over there. Hit the little bell icon to be notified when we go live every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Pacific. Join us. It's a great time. If you want to listen to us on the go or anytime we're not live, you can check out the audio podcast at anywhere that fine RSS feeds are. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube Music, Pocket Cast, Deezer, all those fine places we're at. Also, if you would rather get something in your in your email box every week, every Friday, one Eleni Yee delivers a fresh, hot take into your email box with the Full Nerd newsletter. You can sign up for that over at PCWorld.com/sign up. /newsletters with an S /sign up. Let me do that again. PCWorld.com/newsletters with an S /sign up and get a an awesome email delivered to you.
We got to make that URL simpler, man.
Yeah, we really should.
I'm gonna work on that.
For me, thank you. Yeah. So I want to thank Eleni for showing up. I appreciate it. It's terrific.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Does that go on my performance review?
Yeah, we're going to need to get those TPS reports in ASAP. Brad Charkis, what's happening?
Thanks, boss. I'll see you Saturday.
Yeah, I'm going to need you to come in Sunday as well. Will Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Chicken.
Okay. Yeah. We're going to need you to inflate your chicken.
Oh, it's going to be a minute. It's fully deflated now.
You should have started that at the beginning of the intro.
Look, I didn't realize it was going to
you have something attached to it that can actually inflate it on the fly?
I mean, you want that rather than the alternative.
Yeah.
You don't want natural inflation in here.
Audio
Well,
listeners
no, I thought you had inflated it for the show, and then you like left the inflation device behind.
Well, it kind of eases out over time.
You can't really hear it either.
It's got a 4 AA, so I guess it's 6-volt battery powered like PC fan in here, basically.
Can't really hear it.
Yeah, just constantly blowing at my nether regions. So I got that going for me.
Okay, and then I'm gonna have one Willis lie. Take us out of here.
Elena, real quick. So I put up a poll that asked, should or what is it does candy taste better on Halloween or November 1st? So many people say definitely at a discount for November 1st post Halloween.
What?
Yeah.
My people are with me?
With you.
And Willis, I'm going to need you to, I'm going to need
is-
you to get us out of here.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Thanks, everybody.
This is a lot. Okay, thanks everyone.
Yeah.
Bye, Will.
Yeah.
Will's just walking in front of the camera. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Oh boy. All right. Thanks everyone. Hey boss, I am just going to cut us off now. And
Yeah.
oh my goodness.
Okay.
All right. See you guys later and have a
Happy
good
Halloween.
week. Happy Halloween. And before I go, I'm going to enjoy a soda pop. Bye.
Soda pop. Soda. You're gonna make me watch that again. That